students. Today we will discuss the characteristics of sound, and it is given in page number 140 in your science book. All of you please open your book and see the characteristics of sound. To study the characteristics of sound, first we need to understand some of the terms related to a sound wave. A sound wave can be represented in the same way like the water wave. So we can draw a sound wave like this. We can represent a sound wave like this. This is a wave. Now the term crest, trough, amplitude, this lambda is the wavelength. Let us discuss all these terms one by one. You can see this is the crest or peak, and this point is the trough. Crest or peak means it is the highest point. It is the highest point above this origin. It is the highest point or peak point, you can say, and it is known as crest. And below this point is known as the trough. So now, what is the amplitude? Amplitude is the distance from the mean position to the peak. Mean position means you can say mean position or equilibrium position or still position. When the wave is at rest, or you can say equilibrium positions, when you represent a wave like this way, the mean position will be this middle point. Between this point and this point, as you can see, this and this point, in between these 2 points, this middlemost is the mean position of the wave. Similarly, between this point and this point, here this point, middle point, is the mean position. So amplitude, what is the amplitude? It is the distance from the mean position, that means from this position to the peak or crest, here to this, because this is the point, highest point, or you can say crest or peak of a wave. So this distance is known as amplitude. Similarly, this also, it is the distance from the mean position to the trough or the below position, this trough or this mean position. This is the amplitude. So when amplitude is larger, loudness of sound will also become larger. Okay, when the amplitude of a sound wave, so that means suppose you have another sound wave which amplitude is larger than this amplitude, then you will know that loudness of that wave will also be larger. We can say loudness is proportional to the square of the amplitude. Loudness is proportional to the square of the amplitude. Let us suppose if you increase the amplitude, 2 times, suppose, okay, let me do, if you increase this loudness, I am writing here as L only, this loudness, L represents loudness, suppose, and A, capital A, it is the amplitude. Suppose I am increasing this amplitude 2 times, okay, 2 times I have increased it, that means twice A. Since loudness is proportional to amplitude square, loudness is proportional to square of the amplitude. If I am increasing this amplitude 2 times, I have to make it square, then loudness will increase how many times? So you can easily say 2 to the 2 square is 4, a square. Initially loudness L is proportional to a square. Suppose L represents loudness, A represents amplitude. Initially this loudness is proportional to amplitude square, but when I increase this amplitude to 2 times, twice a times, then loudness will increase by 4 times from the original loudness. It is all about loudness and amplitude. So when you increase the amplitude, loudness will also increase. Next term is frequency. So what is frequency? Frequency, it refers to the number of waves. Suppose this is the point. Suppose I am taking this point. In 1 second, if I give you 1 second, you have to count how many waves are passing through this point in 1 second. If you are counting how many waves are passing like this are passing through this point in a given time, okay, that number of waves is referred as frequency. So frequency is nothing but number of waves that pass a fixed place. Suppose here I am considering the fixed place as this point in a given amount of time. That is the frequency. And the last one is wavelength. So what is wavelength? Wavelength is the distance between two successive crests or troughs of a wave. This is a crest point and the successive crest is this. In between two crests there is a trough. So the wavelength is the distance between the two successive crests, you can say. Otherwise you can say two successive troughs also. This point is the trough, also here this point is the trough. So wavelength is the distance between two successive crests or two successive troughs. These are the terms related to a sound wave. In the next video I will send to understand better these characteristics of sound, we need to understand a simple pendulum. Okay, in the next video I will send. Thank you.